This is something incredibly important in energy warfare, spiritual warfare, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it. And that is that what you think a word means is almost never what that word means for a fake human. And this is not something accidental. This is something done on purpose to deceive us. I will give you one example, Ed, because this is a very important word. The word worship. Worship. Now, for a human, and the dictionary meaning of worship is to reverence, to adore. It is a spiritual experience. It is a spiritual thing. It is an emotional thing. It is spiritual. And then this spiritual experience might manifest in various actions. But those actions are not specified. Worship essentially means the spiritual experience of adoring somebody. Now, this kind of adoring, it is the highest form of love. And love and all these emotions, these are not things that can be faked. You can't make it till you, what do they say? Fake it till you make it. Yeah, that bullshit doesn't work with actual emotion. You don't pick up something and say, okay, I'm going to worship this. It doesn't work that way. Emotion and love, which is the substance of which this universe is made of, is not a whore. You can't make deals and say, I'm gonna worship you now. No, it doesn't work that way. It has to come on its own. And the beautiful thing is, it's not at all difficult for us humans to experience such things. We are born, and our first instinct towards anything in nature is actually love and worship, because we feel God. That's simple. And now the same word, Ed, this beautiful thing called worship, is a completely different meaning for the fake humans, for the soulless. For them, Ed, it is essentially something they do, not that they experience as happening inside them. It is essentially ritual. It is essentially actions taken. And that is why all religions have rites of worship, because they are not experiencing it naturally. They have to simulate and imagine. They have to fake it till they make it. That's how it is. And let me tell you, Ed, the intention of their worship, in fact, it has an intention, because every action has intention. The reason they fake it, the reason they simulate it, is not because, Ed, they are drawn. It's not because they're experiencing worship already that they want to show that and express it with joy. No, it is because in worship you come into the highest frequency to access sexual energy, vital energy. It is in worship. And so they simulate, they fake worship through various rites, symbolism, all of these, to play with the mind and trick the mind into believing it is worshipping something or somebody. Trick the mind into believing that it is worshipping God, another human, a thing of beauty, etc. What they are doing is putting the brain into a frequency which will make the energy field go into a certain frequency, which is the frequency of worship, which is highest love, and then draining energy by fooling that living being in front of them. They believe they fool they believe they fool the God force and the spiritual energy. They believe it, they spin it. And that is essentially at the highest form of seduction. I adore you, I surrender you, I give my life to you, all this stuff. Marriage, for example, it's a ritual of worship, to simulate worship and surrender to somebody. You're supposed to experience it first. And then, if you want to do a ceremony, you want to say something, none of it is mandatory. What bullshit. None of it, Ed, none of it is required or mandatory in nature. If you want to do it for social purposes or, as an expression of joy, an expression of, an expression of your feeling, that's a whole different matter. But otherwise, technically, the rituals itself, they are simulation rituals. I take thee, I bind thee, all this, a whole load of crap. But that's just one example. Let me tell you, Ed, when I used to travel to the ancient temples of India, I used to see in front of me the two worships, the worship of the soul and the worship of the soulless. The soul said, I remember I was in a very ancient temple and there was this man. He was brought in a stretcher by his four sons. He had come from very far away, from a very far away place. And as he entered the temple, you can feel the energy fielded of, the what they call the deity, but what I now know that Ed is the fossil field of real humans who experienced divinity in sexual union. Period. So that was the energy there, and that you can feel God. He used to feel God there. And this man, Ed, was on the stretcher yelling, God, I have returned. God, I have returned. He was screaming, crying, saying, God, I have come back. I have made the journey back to you, to experience you. That's a soul, Ed, with a soul recognition doing soul worship. This man was going to die, and he said that I want to experience this presence of God that I felt in this temple. His sons carried him and brought him all the way from so far away for this. That is a soul, Ed. The soulless, Ed, were right there, ringing bells, trying to touch whoever they can touch. There were these so-called priests, Ed, literally asking, give me so much money and I'll say this chant for you. One of them was like, so you've come here, do you want a boy baby? And I was like, no, I want a girl baby. They were like, what? Because, in these regions, girls are killed. Nobody wants a girl baby. Nonsense, bullshit, disgusting, evil crap like that. That goes on right there. The place is covered with filth, evil motherfuckers. Evil motherfuckers. And at the same time, there is the soul who's experiencing God. As humanity, Ed, we have withdrawn permission for them to access us or anything of us. So no longer are these sacred places accessible to them. That all changed, Ed. I think the last I experienced was 2019. So, they did the lockdown, Ed, because they, for the first time in recorded history, which in India is like maybe, 50, 60,000 years, they actually shut the temples because they know that they no longer have access. So now they're doing just very fake, superficial rituals. They're not able to energy access anything in our realm. When we humans withdraw permission, they can't access the earth through us either. So a lot of the stuff you're seeing happening at economies crashing and this and that, it's actually because they can't access vital energy anymore. But what I'm saying it to you is that the same word worship, what it means to us and what it means to them is very different. And essentially for them, worship means accessing somebody's energy, vital energy, sexual energy, through simulating this beautiful emotion of adoration and worship. That's what it means for them. Literally in their mind, that's what it means. When you say you worship somebody, they are thinking that you are saying to them that I do rituals to access energy of that entity. When I used to go to these temples and all that, people used to, all these so-called tantrics online used to think that I go there out of, I go there to do rituals to get energy. I don't need, I got my own energy. I just was looking for you. That's it. And places that I sensed that had your energy, I would go there, just to feel the joy, of energy like you. This before I got pregnant, Ed. When I got pregnant, I got your energy in my body permanently, and now I have our child. All my urge to go here and there ended when I got pregnant. But that's the thing. And Ed, we have to be very careful when you get a blip in your heart when someone is speaking to you. Know that blip means that what you mean by that word and what they mean by that word is different. I wanted to give you one more example, Ed, of this. When a person, Ed, from Eastern cultures, when they make an appointment with you, like I'll see you at this time, or they say that at this time on this day we will go somewhere, or we will meet, or we will do this. For a person from the Western culture, it's a very surface thing. It means that at this time on this day we will meet and we will do this. That's what it means. But from a black magic background, which is most of Eastern cultures, I would say even starting from Central Europe on, but definitely Middle East and Asia, definitely. When you give a time and a place, it is a spiritual agreement of spiritual access to you. And a lot of the time they will either be late or they will not be there at that time. They might cancel it. A lot of the time you will know they will not keep an appointment properly. It's a form of ritual abuse. Very rarely yet you will find them keeping an appointment and being there on time. And when they do that, it's because they're scared of you. That's simple. If they are not in abject fear of you, they will not be there on time, or they will skirt around and they will cancel it at the last minute. That's ritual abuse. And Ed, you know what they're actually doing? They're spiritually draining you because you're open at that time to them. So when someone, Ed, from the Eastern countries makes an appointment with you, you need to know immediately what they mean and what you mean. And there might be the very, very odd human being from these places who will make an appointment, and it will be a spiritual agreement, but it will be out of friendship, it will be out of love. And even if they're not on time, and even if by some chance they can't make it, which if they really are sincere, they will make it. But if they can't, you will not feel drained. You will not feel drained. I can tell you, Ed, this thing, black magic thing, has now spread on, and lots of people in the Western countries are practicing it too. If somebody gives you a time and a date and they are not 100% exactly there, and you don't feel drained, you feel energized. And you feel energized even after. Because if they're afraid of you, they will come and do the motions and then drain you after. So you must see how you feel even after. And if it happens to you once that you get drained, never let there be a second time. Never. Stop it right there. Don't waste your life energy. And Ed, when you do that with 2 or 3, When you do that with two or three people, not even two or three, do it with one person, they will try again with another. And Ed, if you do that consistently, they'll never muck about with you again, because these are all run by cabals. Every human is surrounded by a cabal that's running these. So they'll get the message that you're not playing. And you can save so much of your life energy, the days of your life, your emotion with these things. So think about it. Every time you get an instinct something's off, look at what they mean by that word and what you mean. You need to understand cultural differences, and not just Eastern versus Western or whatever, but soul versus soulless. That's what it's all about. Soul versus soulless. Two completely different cultures. You need to understand it, Ed. You can just save so much, and this is a good time to learn, because they're in a horrific downward spiral, and they're gonna catch and just pull whatever they can with them. So we have to we have to step up. We have to step up and get that careful. This is war now. This is not a relaxing time. This is war time. And not the ridiculous bullshit Middle Eastern drama kind of war, This is the real deal. We're taking back what's ours.